I clicked it.
Okay.
And we're live. And we're live. Happy Mother's Day, y'all.
Happy
So this,
Mother's Day.
right? This Mother's Day, we want to have a real conversation, especially with our moms, our aunties, our grandmamas, Big Mama and them, about what it means to give yourself permission to escape, to leave the systems that do not love you back.
And think about it, moms and dads. Where would you go if there was nothing holding you back?
That's right. That's right. As a matter of fact, if you're watching from the future, hey,
Hey,
I hope the future's great. Where would you go? Where would you go if there was nothing to hold you back? Because what we have found in talking to folks over the years, and especially a lot lately, is that when we hear two questions. One, how can I convince my spouse to move abroad, right? And then two, if it is a woman that is being reluctant, that is averse to a life abroad, it usually has to do with family,
mhm,
right? So we're
yeah.
going to talk about that and a lot more. But first, hey y'all, my name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and life abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement age or at retirement age and forgot the plan, get their money straight so that they can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
Abroad is a good thing.
All right, sweetheart. So, what are we going to talk about today?
So, what we're going to talk about is Black moms, you deserve peace. Okay.
Yeah.
Giving yourself permission to leave the US.
Mhm.
Okay. So, we're going to go over 5 questions that we want you to really, really think about on what you would do and how you would do it or what your wishes would be because so many people have forgotten or don't remember how to wish anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we're just going to give you the 5 questions right now. All right. So for all of you who are impatient and want to just get to the meat of it, we're going to give you the 5 questions right now, and then we're going to go back and talk about it. So question number one: who taught you that staying put was your only option? Question number two:
What has staying in the US actually cost you?
question number three: what would freedom look like for you, not for your kids, not for your grandkids, but what would freedom look like for you? Question
Question
number
4
four:
is, are you open to receiving joy in a new location?
and then question number five: what would giving yourself permission look like today? Okay, so those are the 5 questions that you need to ask yourself, because so many times we stay stuck because if you if you only know how to use a hammer, right, then everything is a nail, right? And sometimes we don't consider solutions to problems because we've never seen someone else do it. And so we want you to think about what seems to be impossible, moms. All right, on this Mother's Day in 2025, when Black women are under attack in the United States because of the melon felon, it is time to start putting yourself first, because you cannot help anybody else if you're not all right, right? So, but first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake up call. We were getting close to retirement age and we looked at our money, y'all. Y'all know, it looked crazy.
Crazy.
But we did. We got our financial act together and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. So, y'all, if we can do it, you can
You
do
can
it
do
too.
it too.
Right? If any of that sounds interesting to you, please, please, please subscribe. We are trying to get to 100,000 because we believe that the information that we share on this channel needs to be heard by more folks from our community. The more people who subscribe, the more times you hit like, the more YouTube knows that this is information that needs to go out to folks just like you. All right.
And
Oh,
also,
hit that
also we
notification.
want to,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
the notification button. Also, we want to tell you we do have membership now. We want to say thank you to our
Yes.
members, Utopian
Yes.
members, and our Utopian legends.
Yes, 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 yes. So I'm sorry, y'all. Today we did not have our behind the scenes chitty chat, but we will be back next Sunday. I will be back in Portugal. Y'all know that I'm in LA, and I saw someone asked about my dad. I'm in a hard situation, y'all. I'm just going to be honest, and it'll be interesting to look back and see what stress I'm not allowing myself to feel. But this is part of life when you live abroad, or even when you live in another state, right? If you live across country from aging parents. And like I know my parents always said, we don't want to be a burden, we don't want to be a burden, we don't want to be a burden. Okay, so what does that look like? And how does you not being a burden, how does that make me feel less guilty? Because I do feel guilty. I'll be honest, I feel guilty. And I've got to leave because my visa is going to be expiring next week. And I've got to get back into Portugal before I can't get back in. And my dad is still in the hospital and he can barely talk and he cannot swallow. And it is not looking good, y'all. It is not looking good. And I'm smiling to keep from crying. I'm smiling to keep from crying. So, with that said, let's say hello to our members. Hey, Greta Cobb, good to see you in the chat. Antonia Vasquez, good to see you. Jackie Martin Rosier, good to see you. Hey, Action VJ. Did y'all go putt-putt golfing yesterday?
We went mini golfing, and it was
So so
mini.
while so so while we were having our live Q&A slash group coaching session yesterday for all of the Beyond the Blings participants, that's our financial freedom.
Uh,
Yeah, that's right. That's our financial freedom program for late
uh,
bloomers. Rick and his buddies
I
were
was
out.
entertaining. I was
They were out.
entertaining clients locally.
Oh, I hope you kept the receipt. I hope you, I hope you kept the receipt. Hey, Gwen and Derek, good to see you in the chat. Shanora is in the chat. Allison is in the chat. We're so glad to see you. Hey, Javetta, good to see you.
Hey,
Ryder Skater
Janetta.
is in the chat. Ballerina is in the chat. A Lee, hello, 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 hello. It
Hello.
is so good to see you in the chat. Tanya Brooks, y'all, we love you. Tana Rose, Avocado Queen. We love you all so, so much. And thank you for being patient with me because I have not, it has been very hard for me to answer emails, to look at the comments, and to keep up with things. It really, really has. I've got some very, very hard decisions to make in the next couple of days, and it's taking its toll. So I'm at my cousin's house. My auntie passed away, so I'm at the house that I was at before. So this is two. They say it happens in threes. It better not happen in three in my family. Damn it. I'm about tired of this. That's what I know. That's what I know. And so let's talk about the first thing. Like, who taught you? And we want to, and even for the men who are in the audience, right? Like, we have a lot of folks, and you might know some folks who never, ever, 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 ever considered of life outside of the United States. And it's interesting because I was talking to one of my dad's doctors yesterday, and he's Indian American, and he's second generation. So his grandparents immigrated. Um, so he's young, y'all, he's young. But he's like, what would make you leave the United States? And I'm like, really, brown boy? Really? And he's like, yeah, I keep telling my dad, we're brown, stop trying to think that you're white. And I was like, okay, so you get it. You get it. But like, even for him, who is, his family's a recent immigrant, like, who taught you that staying put was your only option?
Hmm.
Was there, like, do you feel emotional pressure, spiritual pressure? Like Stephanie was talking about yesterday, people come into her chat and maybe on her one-on-one calls saying, I need to find a church exactly like the one I had before.
Right.
That's not going to work. That don't even
No.
work when you move from city to city, right? Because humans are involved. And so, like, I wonder if we put obstacles in place out of fear. What do you think,
You know,
sweetheart?
I think what a lot of people do is they want to take the life that they had or understood in one place to the next place, and it never fits. It just never fits because cultures are different, people are different, languages are different, just areas are different. And like we always try to say, you can't bring your American life to Portugal because you're going to get frustrated.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. And I think especially for women, especially for moms, especially for grandmoms, even aunties, and godmoms, right? It, there's this pressure that we're supposed to always be there for everyone, right? There's this pressure that, well, where are we going? Like, I was talking to Pastor the other day. They're like, well, where are we going to go if you're not going to have Christmas at your house? That's a mild thing, right? Like if all you're requested to do from the family at large is has have Christmas and Thanksgiving
Have
at your
Christmas
house,
dinner.
right? Like
Yeah.
that's a small thing, but we're often asked to do so 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 much more, right? We're expected to be the ones to hold the family together. We're expected to be the ones to encourage everyone to be their best selves, right? The kids, the young people, and stuff like that. Whether it's going to college or trade school or learning, to master their craft, right? We're the ones who are supposed to nurture that,
Mhm.
and then console our husbands when they come home battered from, that workplace, right? And then, oh, who's worried about the food? What we gonna eat tonight? Who's that? Who does that usually? Right? Right. And so, I think families put a lot of pressure on women to be the savior. What do you think? What are y'all saying?
Well, you know, I agree with you.
My husband's a feminist, y'all. And if you don't know what a feminist is, let me look it up. I'm gonna look up and see what the Webster dictionary is, the version is feminist uh definition. Because I remember when I told that to my dad, I was like, Dad, I didn't know you were a feminist. And he's like, I'm not gay. So a
No, you
feminist
didn't.
is,
Really?
he did say that, bless his heart. Isn't he precious? He's so precious. Silent generation from 1938, right? So a feminist is simply someone who advocates for women's rights on the basis of equality. That's all a feminist is. And I don't know why it got a bad name. I don't know why. So oldest daughter responsible and younger brother gets off easy. That part. I think a lot of the boys get off easy. I'm looking at my little second cousin slash nephew because of the age difference, like a nephew. And this boy, he just got back from Japan, y'all. He knows that there's supposed to be a Mother's Day gathering over here. Has he gotten up to try to clean something, to try to mop something, to try to dust something? No, no. He has not. He has not. It's like, these kids. I called my okay, his stepbrother and my second cousin, right? I called them or I texted them because they don't answer no phones. I texted them and said, I will pay you guys $100 each to go over to our condo and pick up these boxes and take them over to this house and put them in the garage. They had all of these questions. All of these, they got a truck at their disposal. They had all these questions. Well, did you talk to my dad? What's your dad got to do with it? Negro, you 25 years old. Other homeboys like 30. What y'all doing? These kids, I'm telling you. So,
Sound too much like work.
so while we are sacrificing our freedom, while we're sacrificing our peace for these young people, perhaps what we're doing is clipping their wings by staying around. Perhaps, right? That's something to think about.
Yeah.
So Antonia says, for me, I was told that there is no better country than the USA. Yeah, right. That may have been decades ago, but obviously is not relevant today. True that. True that. Greta says, Alicia, may your heart and mind be protected as you make these hard decisions. Thank you regarding your dad. May you release your tears, knowing that what you are doing is loving and admirable. Greta, you gonna make me cry? I just put on my makeup. Come on now. Oh man, I love you too, Greta. I love you too. My parents escaped the South to Cali. Following rules equated to safety. I mean, and that's the thing, right? That's how they keep us in line. That's how they get away with tyranny. By That is tyranny, right? We follow the rules not because they're rules that are morally correct, right? We follow the rules because we're afraid for our lives if we don't, right?
Mm.
Thank you, Debbie. So Greta says we missed you yesterday. He was playing putt-putt golf. He wasn't missing nobody.
I was.
He wasn't missing nobody.
It's actually VJ's fault.
If you want to become a member, y'all, this Thursday, I don't know. I will be on a plane. Will I be on a plane? No, I will be there. I'll be back in Portugal. So we're supposed to have our Utopian Legends on Thursday. Now,
Right.
last time a couple of y'all said I'll be there, but you meant you'll be there in the audience. No, we want we want to have you on as
We want
guest.
you to be on guest, yeah.
So if you can be there as a guest, I will put another thread as a post to our urban legends. If you can be there as a guest, hey Teddy, let us know. All right. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Right? That's all I'm saying. Hit that like button, y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Teddy. All right. So who taught you that staying put was your only option? And why did you believe it? Right? We heard from somebody said she was always taught that the USA was the greatest country on earth.
Greatest
Now it's
country.
interesting because that's what I learned in school as well, but that's not what I learned at home. That is not what I learned at home. And so I never, ever, ever, as far back as I can remember, when I say like from 5 or 6 years old, have I ever felt 100% American. I've never felt like a true citizen of America. I never have. And they've put in, laws and things in place, right? And the way that they enact the laws prejudicially to reinforce why I should not feel comfortable thinking that I have 100% citizenship rights.
Mm.
What am I missing? Right? What am I missing? And so, yeah, like I think it's more the propaganda brand of the United States that makes us think that the United States is the best country on earth. I don't know. I would be interested to hear from y'all if your parents, especially if you're Black, did your parents reinforce that? And if so, why do you think that is? Because we know it's not true. We know it's not true. What is happening today, this MAGA movement has been underneath the surface of the United States since its inception. This is not an anomaly. This is not something new. People are saying, this is not who we are. This is absolutely friggin' who we are. This is absolutely who America is. Absolutely. And I dare a Black person to say, this is not who we are. They know good and doggone well that 60% of the white folks out there are racist as all hell, and would roll you over to uphold white supremacy. So
Okay.
why do you believe that staying put is your only option?
I think a lot of
And
people, a lot of parents have never left the country before, except for if they were in the military. You know, my mother
right,
never left this country. She would never discourage me from going somewhere or exploring. That wasn't her. But you know, I
right,
mean, my father was in the military, so But when he left, it was in war. It was going to Korea, or
right,
something like that, Second World War. So a lot of times they didn't really get the gist of how it would be to live in Europe or how it would be to live in South, because they've never been there. I mean,
right.
if you were in California, you're lucky enough to go to Tijuana,
No,
just crossing over.
Ensenada,
Ensenada,
Ensenada.
Ensenada, Tijuana, stuff like that. But, you know, I know my father never had the interest of going anywhere else. I don't want that. What you need to do that for? And it was like that generation of, yeah, this is the greatest country. Well, they fought for this country. So I can understand.
And that's the thing. How many Black men gave their lives, and women, for this country in military service just to come home and be treated like shit? I'm amazed. And see, and they're amazed too. They're amazed too that your dad, that my grandparents, that my dad, right, like that they were not just pissed off as hell and waiting to take it out on somebody, you know, for the way for what they have done for this country and the way the country has treated them in return. And now poor white folks are getting a little bit of that, a taste of that. They've been getting a taste of it all along, but they just didn't
Mm,
realize it. Just didn't realize it. Like homeboy was talking about how, I get 4 hours of sleep and I got to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet. So tell me where my white privilege is. And it's like, yeah, but you ain't getting arrested, right? But you're not walking in the store and they're following you around. But if you want to join a union, there's no question. Don't blame us for your poor choices. You made poor choices to get you in a situation where you got to work 3 jobs. That's not a me problem. That's a you problem. But put some Black obstacles in your way and see. You probably would be trying to take yourself out of here,
if they weren't
driving in
kicking
a
you out.
driving in that nice truck. Try to talk smack. All right. Let's
Yeah.
see what you guys are talking about. My parents told me at a very early age that my home is wherever I can be productive. I love that, writer skater. They believed in travel. My parents were traveling to Europe back in the 70s.
That's
Wow, especially
awesome.
France. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
the one thing I have to say, and these are the little intangibles that people do not realize. So back in the 70s, when her parents were going, a writer skater, I don't know if she's male or female, or they're male or female. But anyway, when their parents were going to Europe, I lived across the street from a family, and they traveled internationally as well. The the wealth disparities and the income inequality did not exist even close to the extent that it exists today. So therefore, my parents, who were still in college, bought a house in the same neighborhood as, or right next door to and across the street from, two Black doctors. Now, of course, the Black doctors had Cadillacs in their driveway, and we only had a little Toyota Corolla in our driveway, right? But and why am I bringing this up? Because when we talk about like um the village and mothering and all of this stuff, first of all, it was easier to have really safe, good Black neighborhoods back in those days. because the wealth inequality was not the same. Buying power was a lot stronger for the average American, right? So that is number one. Number two is that even though my parents, who were the poor people on the block, even though they could not afford to travel, I got the blessing of hearing from my friends' parents
Mm.
about their travels, because there wasn't this bifurcated where all the rich black folks lived over here and all the poor black folks lived over there, and they went to private school and they went to public school. That wasn't the case back in those days. And so all of us got to experience and be educated by the experiences of those in our neighborhood that had more money. um, right, including live-in maids that spoke Spanish. I started learning my first Spanish at 5 or 6 years old because my friend across the street, the family of doctors, they had live-in maids. And Tony, I'm late to the party and seeing how things really are, but I'm glad, so glad I'm seeing it now. Yeah, Antonia, Vasquez, I don't know if you are born and raised in America, or if you came from South America, or your people came from South America, or so. It's easy. It is easy. Like, in talking to my Spanish tutor, it's easy to pass off racism as classism if that's what you've known. And my Spanish tutor knew classism more than she knew racism.
Mm.
And it wasn't until she started having a lot of Black American students that she started recognizing the racism that goes on down in South America. Um, and I'm just going by your name, Antonia. And even in Puerto Rico, the colorism, right? The colorism, and it, it wouldn't be that big of a deal if these people were not also trying to keep you economically disenfranchised.
Right.
So while Big Mama is trying to guilt you into staying in America, right? You've got the system also hemming you up with underpaying you and overcharging you. It's cray cray. Hey, professor, it's cray cray.
Yeah, that's true.
It's true. It's true. Well, I take that back, because Rick and I get all the time when we'll go to this place or that place, and they'll say, "Where are you from?" The first place they think is England, and then when they find out that we're from America, they're like, "Oh, Manhattan! Oh, Disneyland! Oh, Hollywood! I want to
Yeah,
go! I want to go! I want to see it! I want to see it! I want to see it!" And we're like, "Yeah, okay, but take your bulletproof vest, right?" Like, we burst their bubble quick, but there are still people out there who think that it's like the movies.
they think America is Disneyland. A lot
Yeah,
of them. They think America is Disneyland or something like it. Hollywood. I remember when people used to always want to come to L.A. to see. It's not Grauman's anymore, I don't think, or it might still
it's
be in
not
the
it's
name
it,
somewhere.
it- it's not Grauman's Chinese Theater. It's
Grauman's.
man.
It used to.
It was Man's Chinese Theater. I don't know
Yeah,
if it's
but
still Man's.
way before it was Grauman's Chinese Theater, and everybody wanted to go there so they could see if their feet would go in the cement with the stars' feet and stuff like that. And I remember taking family and stuff when they come visit. That's the first thing they asked to do. But then when they went and walked up and down Hollywood and Sunset Boulevard and seen that it wasn't pristine and it wasn't, you know, all the craziness that you see, people getting robbed on the street and stuff like that, then a reality set in.
Back in those days, Hollywood was the hood. Hollywood
It
was
was.
the hood. It,
It
it
truly
it's
was.
been gentrified again. It's been gentrified again. But back in the 70s and 80s, please. My cousin actually told me that if no one could move abroad with me, that I shouldn't go. I'm sorry, Allison. What did you tell your cousin? What'd you tell your cousin? I know what I would say. Oh my gosh. 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 All right, let's get to question number two. What has staying in the US actually cost you?
I mean, stress, the stress alone that you have to go through, of all the craziness that you have to go through, of all the systems you have to go through with the craziness, and then the government doesn't help it on top of that.
Right, 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 right. Your
So,
health.
your health.
I mean, those are two are intertwined. Like you can't separate it, right? The stress goes hand in hand with your health,
So to
and
give
your
you the
health is
stress, then you
dictated
can't
by your
afford,
stress.
and you can't afford to get the health care.
That part,
So
that
you're
part,
stressed
right?
more, worried about how you're gonna pay for something.
That part. And I'm dealing with that with my dad too, because it's like I had everything in hand, how much things were going to cost. And now they're talking about all of this other stuff. And I'm like, okay, who's paying for this? Lord. Safety, right? Your safety, your peace of mind and safety are always at risk. Well, as a female, it's at risk no matter where you live, right? But in some places it's more at risk than in other places. There are hawks flying out here. It's so interesting. There's like two or three that just keep flying by. But anyway, so yeah, here in the United States, the safety of women is especially at risk. Higher mortality rates when we're giving birth. I know most of the people who are watching are past that age, but still, right? We've got grandkids, we've got daughters, and that are of that age, and it is less safe to have babies in the United States than it is to have babies in most of the rest of the so-called developed world,
Hmm.
right? Um,
Yeah.
I can tell you, like, what is the physical and emotional toll that living in the United States is having on you, which is shaped by racism, right? Ageism, and everything being, especially with the melon felon, everything being in constant crisis, like every single day is something. I remember back in 2016 when we had to deal with this butthole the first time, and I would wake up every day, or I come home from work and Rick would be watching the TV, watching the news, and what would I say? Are we in war yet? Has he gotten us in war yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember
Are we
that?
at war? Yeah, I do.
Because
Yeah.
he's so, I'm not going to say he's stupid, but he is. But he's clever at the same time, right? Like clever as a fox. And when you mix that with being evil, this is what you get. One of the things that Hitler did right was the damn trains ran on time. So if you can keep the masses happy while you're massacring these people over here, you probably could get away with it. But you can't have your base being angry at you because the trains ain't running on time. In other words, the shelves are empty, the eggs are too damn high, the rent is too damn high, and every other person is getting laid off. So now you got to help cousin so and so and Bubba. You got to help Bubba John and them, right? Who got laid off. um, I don't know, being security guard at the chips factory, that because Biden opened it, it is now closed, right? Just dumb shit, right? Like all of this stuff is like always something, always something. What is staying costing you? What is not being 100% aggressive about getting your financial act together, right? And getting yourself in a position to get out? What is that costing you? Because there's some people who we have been coaching off and on since the inception of our Black Utopia. Y'all know who we talking to. Mhm, mhm. And some of them are no closer to being in a position to get out of Dodge than they were 3 years ago. Now, we know life be lifing. We know life be lifing. But every single day, you've got to be aggressively chasing that dream. right? And so when you're making financial decisions, you don't make them haphazardly like you did yesterday. That's no longer an option. Like, we've got to be diligent about that, right? I was talking to one of my cousins, and they said, I've never had a budget because they've always made good money. That's the problem, right? They've always made good money. And so, well, since college or whatever, right? They had one of those nice, safe government jobs and always made, decent to good money, and just spent as if it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
So, and I say that to say, if you are serious about this move, and we in the community, we talk all the time, and we're like, so and so ain't going nowhere. So and so ain't going nowhere, because they still doing the same things that they were doing before, right? With 1,000 excuses.
That's how
And
you
it's
can
like,
always tell.
and it's like,
But
why do we want more for you than you want for you?
yeah,
And I'm not saying that it's not a sacrifice. Like, there always has to be a sacrifice. So the question is, did you sacrifice in your 20s and 30s, right? And you didn't live large, and you didn't party hardy, and you didn't, take the extravagant vacations and buy the BMWs and all of that, and you put that money aside, right? Or you've got to sacrifice on this end, right? And so the sacrifice for Rick and myself meant that we had to choose between having a shitload of luxurious things, or living a life of freedom, of independent financial freedom, simplicity, and joy.
yeah. But you gotta
We
want
did,
it.
right? Like had we started saving 30, 40, 50, 60% of our salaries back from our 20s, we could have had both. We could have had both, but we didn't. We didn't. And I'm not crying about it, because there's no point, right? Not crying, not complaining about the dumb choices that I made, right? That still doesn't mean that I don't have privilege. I know I have privilege, not white people privilege, but I do have privilege because my parents went to college and things like that, right? I have some privilege. I know that. I know that. And yet, what is this costing you? What is this costing you, y'all? All right, let's see what you're saying. If you find this conversation interesting, y'all hit that like button. I can't see how many likes we have. Oh, yes, I can. Well, no, I can't see how many likes we have. I can see how many people are watching, and we have almost 300 people watching. So hopefully we have almost 300 likes. Okay, I'm going to start from the bottom. Hey, Maria, happy Mother's Day to you too. I spent 3 months in Argentina, was greeted like a returning family member. Not one time did my beautiful Black American nationality, ethnicity, was it ever seen negatively. Every Black person should feel that way. You, I don't think that we truly can grasp, and I think, this is why sometimes people, like, when they hear Stephanie and Rashida, and they're like, we only help Black women, and da 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 da, and this and that and the other, and people are like, well, why not all POCs and this and that and the other? The people in America who are in the Americas, who are descendants of slaves, like, we have a unique relationship in this, with the world, with our home country, right? And I don't think that we realize how detrimental it is to always be on the defensive. Like, we go through life in America basically apologizing for our skin color,
Mm.
right? Like, all the energy that it takes to make white folks feel safe and okay around us and not threatened, and all of that other nonsense. That's energy that could have been used, like, curing cancer, That's energy that could be used helping solve the climate crisis, helping find a true cure to HIV, right? Like that's energy that could be used in so many other positive ways. But instead, most African Americans are expending that energy just dealing with the daily racist existence of being in America. And it's tiring.
Yeah.
It is so, so tiring. And I don't think that we really appreciate how tiring it is until you don't have to deal with it anymore. Look, I walked around this LA, and when I walked into Kroger's, and they had people set up with a booth to try to sell something. I don't know if it was a cell phone. I don't know what they were selling. I spoke Portuguese to them. I pretended like I didn't understand what they're saying. I no, I want to deal with you. It's live and learn with everything in life. You shouldn't have regrets, and you shouldn't. Yeah, we shouldn't, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Those things are useless. It's truly, truly, truly. And keep moving forward and doing better. Definitely, definitely.
Yes.
Hi, Halisi and Rick. I just got hired as a police dispatcher in my city, but it's not ideal because I want to get out of here so badly. But finding remote work that's global has been so hard in this trying economy. Yeah, it is. It's definitely going to be harder now. It is, y'all. And that's why we've got to have multiple streams of income. We really have to start really being serious about creating our own income. Seriously, y'all. Seriously. The days of depending upon a W-2 income stream, it was never great. I've been laid off of 80% of the jobs that I've had.
Yeah.
But right?
Yeah. That's the
Um,
conversation I had the other day with my nephew. Just the other day. You
and he
know,
just
he's
got laid
so,
off, right?
I don't know. Yeah. I did everything, because, yeah, we work hard. We do everything we can do to keep the job and make, everybody happy with our work and everything like that. And I said, guess what? They didn't give a damn, did they? They didn't give a damn. I said,
That's
so
right.
why are you going to go back and try to do the same things again? When your aunt and I had the conversation with you before, what you should be doing or in how you should be doing things, we gave you a blueprint. We gave you a
Make,
blueprint.
making money is not hard, y'all. It really is not hard. It really is not hard in 2025. There are so many opportunities for you to make money. It's not a switch that you can just turn on automatically. But once it's on, once you've got the switch, it is easy to turn it up and get more money coming in and then turn it back down when you feel like doing less. Seriously. And so we're going to have our next side hustle challenge cohort in July. So stay tuned for that. It had this stuff not happened with my dad, I would have already got the landing page done and all of that stuff so that you guys can sign up. But life be life and life be life and but yeah, I say that to say like the side hustle challenge, this is a way that this is one of our income streams, but we're also teaching you how to create an income stream. That's the beauty of it. And that's from idea, even if you have no idea what you want to do, from that moment to launch, that's what the challenge is going to be about. And so we've always got to have these other income streams. And I know that is the surefirest way to get out of Dodge because nobody else is in control of it but you. That even more than rental income to some extent, because the money comes from a lot of different places, right? Not just one or two.
Yeah.
LaShonda's saying packed up his family, came to California to join another brother who was already here, went back to Oklahoma, sued, won, that's great, came back, bought a house, started his own business. That kind of sounds like my family. Oh, here's the first part. Grandparents came to California from Oklahoma after grandpa got hurt on a construction job. Was told if he sued, he'd be blackballed in every state he worked in. You know, This is how they try to keep us on these jobs. These jobs aren't loyal,
Mm-mm.
right? Like we told your nephew, these jobs are not loyal. Why are you busting your butt and doing all of this stuff? They're paying you like shit, giving you shit hours, giving you shit work conditions, and you love their company more than they love their company. Because if they love their company, they would be treating their employees well so that their employees would do their best jobs, which would increase profits. But that's too much like right.
Yeah.
That's
And
too much like right.
what I also told him, I said, what you're saying to me sounds like you are insane because you keep doing the same things, trying to find work that's not going to pay you anything, and you're going to end up with the same results because every result
Exactly.
is always the same. It's like,
Exactly.
but you don't want to listen. You don't want to hear it. What? Because my words don't come with a paycheck? Because
But
I'm
they
not
do eventually.
yeah, I'm not cutting you a check every time I tell you to do something. No, that's not going to happen.
Mm-mm. But what we are doing is giving you a fishing rod and teaching you how to fish. You still got to
And
do some work.
yeah,
You still got to walk your ass down there to the stream.
put the worm
Hold
on
it,
the hook.
figure out how to put the worm on the hook. You see, y'all see that I've never fished a day in my life. You gotta do something.
Yeah,
As they are taking away women's rights, or as they are taking away women's health rights, right? And they're trying to create the handmaiden's tale, right? And reduce females down to just breeding stock. No one is addressing the fact that childbirth is one of the most dangerous things in the world to do. No one is addressing that fact. And it is especially dangerous if you're a Black woman. Like if they don't even believe Serena Williams when she says something ain't right, and I'm sure she done paid for the best, what chance do we have? What chance do we have? Patricia says the cost that she's paid is peace, loss of time that I shouldn't have given to do work and not saying the word no. They're snatching people off the street. They have people in masks that will not identify themselves. Why they have masks on? Is that because they're J6ers that have been deputized? Is that why they're acting the way they're acting? Because I've never seen law enforcement act like this, right? Roaming
mm,
around in packs in Latino neighborhoods, snatching people, 16-year-old little girls throwing themselves on the car, talking about, no, please don't take my mama, and all this other nonsense. And why aren't they showing their face? If you're so righteous, and if what you're doing is legal and on point, why aren't you showing your face? Mm-mm. No. Um, I know how bad it can get. I know how bad it can get because my parents were caught up in it the last time we started trending towards fascism with McCarthyism, and my father lost his security pass, right, and in turn lost his job as an engineer in the aerospace industry because McCarthy decided that my father was a communist, and without due process, just like what's happening now, without due process, accused him of this, made him lose his job. Phones were tapped, house was bugged, police always sitting outside of our door, harassing us without due process. The exact same thing that's going on now. So I know how bad it can get. We had to run. We had to run in the middle of the night and sneak out so that they didn't know where we were going. So that the United States government, so the police department, which was infiltrated by the KKK, did not know where we were going. Y'all cannot tell me that the United States is not that bad. It is a step above an apartheid state, and it is what the world considers a flawed democracy. It is no longer a true democracy. It has been taken down a notch.
Hmm.
America causes a PTSD situation for people of color. Only in America do Black Americans feel they have to constantly be on guard against white Americans. And it is very traumatizing. It's because no other place in the world do ordinary citizens believe that it is their job to police other citizens. Disneyland so far out of reach. I know when they got rid of the Southern California pass and stuff like that, I was like, oh, y'all don't want me no more. Y'all don't want me. All right, let's keep going. All right. Number 3, what would freedom look like for you? We want to hear from you. What would freedom look like for you? Not for your kids, not for your
Not for
grandkids.
the grandkids, for you. Yeah.
Visualize. Close your eyes and visualize peace, y'all. Safety. Visualize adventure or stillness abroad. You know, my mom, who was so against us moving. She was against us moving because she was insecure about her ability to take care of herself, but would not admit it. And how do I know that? Because now that somebody else is taking care of her, she is free to be happy for me and Rick. She now feels free to be happy for us. And so when I showed her our latest pictures from Rome, we were there when the last pope, passed away and all. Well, JD Vance killed the last pope, allegedly, reportedly. uh, you know, she's happy for us. She's happy that I am experiencing a life that I want to experience, right? And that I'm not settling,
Hmm.
right? Our parents always want the best for us. And when they make decisions for us and we know it as parents ourselves, right? When they make decisions for us that seem to hem us in, is because of their own fears,
Right.
right? Why would you major in that? Or we can't afford college, you better go to trade school, whatever. It's their own fears. It's their own fears. It doesn't mean that they don't believe in us, but they know how the system works and they know how this country works. And they know that there are so many obstacles to keep us down. We still rise. We rise. That's what we do, right? That's what we do. But it wasn't until my mom, the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It wasn't until she felt safe and secure in her life, that she felt safe to express how happy she was that her daughter and son-in-law were having adventures. And we want you to have adventures too, if that's what you would like, right? We
Hmm.
want you to have that peace. And here's the thing, because we think staying put for our kids, staying put for our grandkids is in their best interest. But I question that. I question that because to me, okay, this is an extreme example, but I'm gonna give the example. It's like a woman who leaves an abusive relationship and takes the kids with them, right? Like, one could say, well, you don't want to break the family up. But isn't it better for her to model what she would want for her kids, right? And she would not want her kids to be abused. She would want them to leave. So she needs to model that. We need to model what it feels like to say to our abuser, the United States, no more, no more. And we don't need you like you think we need you.
Hmm.
What do you think about that? What do you think about that? So, what does freedom look like for you, y'all? Let us know if you're watching from the future in the comments. Let us know in the chat, what does freedom look like? Put a Q if you want. If you're watching, sweethearts, if you are watching from the future and you put a Q in front of it, I'm going to assume it's a question because I can't put your comment live on the screen after the fact.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to assume it's a question. All right. Let's see what y'all are talking about. Okay. I just saw that one. Let's go all the way down to the bottom. We saw Argentina. It's a live and learn with everything in life. You shouldn't have regrets. Okay, I think we read that one. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I think we read that one. My grandmother always said ifs were a fifth, we'd be drunk.
We'd be drunk.
I like your grandmother. Oh my gosh. All right. All right. They can let you go anytime they want. So why can't we let them go when we want to? That part. So she's talking about jobs, y'all. Like this whole give 2 weeks notice, it's a lot of damn nerve. It's a lot of damn nerve because half the time when they lay you off, they're real stingy about what they're going to offer, right? And they don't give you any warning. They don't say, okay, you can work for another 2 weeks. And then after that, we going to give you some severance. They don't say that. So you can prepare accordingly. They don't say that. No, you just out that day, pack your shit right now and get out.
Oh yeah.
Right. But we're supposed to give 2 weeks notice if it's our choice to leave. These people are tripping. That happened to my grandpa back in the late 1940s. Times haven't changed. No, they haven't changed at all. They really haven't. I mean, they have. They have. I don't want to. I don't want to say that there's been no progress because obviously there have. Right? Like we're not getting lynched at the same rate. Um, they're not state-sponsored lynchings necessarily, like they were before, right? And so it's funny to me when people are like, what do you guys need reparations for? It's like, bitch, give me a break. They got so much to repair. The United States government has so much, and every state government has so much to repair. Okay, I'm not sure what you're talking about with the hats, Antonia. All the principles of slavery, the mentality, it's ingrained in the USA. That's right. Y'all.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then they were shoving the Congress ladies who were with him.
I saw that they arrested him. I didn't look into the story.
That's why, Teddy, like, I know how it feels to live in a bubble. And I have to say that, Rick and I are privileged enough to live in a little bit of an expat bubble in Portugal. However, we do deal with a lot of Black Portuguese, and we ask them, what does racism look like here? We explain to them what it looks like in the United States on a regular basis, like what all the males in my family have had to go through. And once again, this is an older Black man. And when I say older, like over 40. And then I've had that same conversation with somebody under 30 who's more apt to deal with law enforcement in the United States, right? And both of them look at me like I'm they give me the side eye when I explain what the Black men in my family have had to go through, all of them being innocent. And so, I know we bring an energy with us that attracts certain things. And then sometimes it's just these assholes being assholes. They arrested a judge. They arrested the mayor of Newark on trumped up charges. Both of them on trumped up charges. They are trying to use the judicial system to score political points. We are like, this is like McCarthyism on steroids. Because at least for McCarthyism, like it wasn't about who didn't like McCarthy. It was about who he thought was a threat. Now, some of it, because I think he was closet gay, some of it might have been trying to protect him. But for the most part, it was still about keeping the country safe, right? Like that was but this is like, look, you on my list because you ain't doing what I said do. You on my list because you're not bowing down and kissing that damn ring. Don't you know I'm the next pope? Didn't you? Didn't you see the AI? Didn't you see the AI image I created as me as the next pope? That's what the melon felon is saying. Like that's one of the differences that is just like crazy to me. Like the grift is so deep. The grift is so strong. Like he's just like, yeah, baby, we about to get paid up in this bitch. We about to get paid. I got a coin. My wife got a coin, and anybody who is the top 20 donors, or not donors, but purchasers of this coin, y'all get to have dinner with me. Pay to play, baby. Let's go. Oh, and you can be foreign, even though that's against the emoluments clause. You can be foreign and buy some time with the president. Somebody slap me and wake me up. What the hell is going on? What the hell is going on? And people are acting like this is business as usual.
Wow.
That part. That part. And I'm with you, Allison, 100%. 100%. Hey, Marilyn, good to see you in the chat. So what does freedom look like to you? I can afford to travel, great health care, truly free when I'm out in public. That part. That's just what we were talking about. And you don't realize it. You don't realize how hemmed up you are. You don't realize how you're carrying that stress in your body until you no longer have to do it. And going on vacation doesn't do it because we're still carrying around, we're acting like, even as a traveler, like unless you've been traveling for a while, and you realize that it really is different. But when we first started traveling, we carried all that shit with us. We carried it all with us, right? And operated accordingly, as if all the people that we were going to encounter were going to act like the white supremacists that live here in America. Didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Deneen says, freedom to me is enjoying life and not feeling that I'm constantly working 3 jobs just to stay alive. I heard that. So we've got to make some different choices, right? We've got to make some different choices. And that first choice is, if your main job is not paying you what they should be paying you, ask for a raise. But secondly, got to get that side hustle going. Got to get them additional income streams. Perhaps it's rental property. I know that the interest rates right now are stupid, but we can't keep doing the same thing. It is nearly impossible in 2025 to be able to do the financial independence thing on just an income.
Right.
Now, if you're a single person that owns property, that owns a home or something like that, and you're making like $150,000, $185,000 a year, perhaps, yeah, you probably could do it, right? You probably could do it as a single person, but not even as a single mom. That would still be hard. Right? And so, especially if you're at that income level, you're going to be expected to pay for tuition. Your child is not going to qualify for nothing, right? And if they don't want to go to Europe, are you thinking that you're going to pay? All of that stuff can keep you from being financially independent if you are just depending upon that W-2 salary. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is create other income streams. We will not stop saying this. Especially today with the global economy in shifts, we cannot depend upon one income stream.
$2 months. Wow.
Who's smoking what?
How do you have to give them 2 months? What if you don't give them 2 months? Then what?
Who is smoking what? I wish I would. And what they gonna do? What you gonna do? You gonna lock me up? What you gonna do? Like, not give me a letter of recommendation? Probably. I've already found a job by the time you know about it. You know, that's the thing. That is the thing. These jobs believe that we are slaves to that job. And why do they believe that? Probably because they are, right? Like if you have a lot of credit card debt, if you just bought that new BMW, right? And you just put, 5% down or something like that, right? You probably upside down. Yeah, you are a slave to that job. And let's add on to that, you haven't saved your FU money. For Rick and I, FU money was 2 years living expenses. 2 years living expenses that said that made us feel like we could say to any employer, F you, I'm out. I ain't putting up with it. All right. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you need to take Beyond the Bling. That is our financial freedom program for late bloomers. That information is in the description below. I could stay at my new job and be vested after 5 years, probably get a small pension with 5 years. I'm trying drop shipping to fund my life. Yeah, seriously, because like a small pension for 5 years of your life, like, what's small? Because if it's like $1,000, shoot, we can teach you how to bring in $1,000 with very little effort. What are we talking about? I mean, $5,000 a month might be small to some people, but not most people. Most of my work life, I refused to dream because there was no hope beyond my current circumstances. CK, you're breaking my heart. You're breaking my heart. I had to dig out of it. Yes, now debt free.
And I'm
Congratulations. I
liberated.
feel liberated, right? I think about our friend Stephanie Perry and the story that she would tell about how she would come home and mark off the day as, okay, now I only have 6,813 more days to do this miserable job. Okay, now I have 6,812
That's
days to do
that's
this
that's a
miserable
pain
job,
within itself.
right? That's what she used to come home and do. That's what not having dreams looks like. That's what giving up on yourself looks like. Well, we know that she didn't remain in that spot,
No.
obviously, because Rick and I might not even be talking to you right now had she remained in that spot. That's for sure. And I'm about to release. I did write a new Substack article, you guys, but I stayed at the hospital last night longer than I thought I was going to stay. But it's coming soon. It's coming soon because I know we have paid members. Y'all pay. I like to write, so I want to get it out there. So thank you, Action VJ, for giving the link to our Substack. Dumpty Trumpty reminds me of Jabba the Hutt. I am a Star Wars fan. I think that's an insult to Jabba the Hutt. Like, I don't even think Jabba the Hutt was as evil as Trump. I don't remember Jabba the Hutt. Did Jabba the Hutt do stuff just for the sake of being evil? I don't know. I don't remember. I was
Mhm.
talking to a girlfriend of mine who is white, and she has hope, and she wants to fight. She should do that. I want to leave. Black people should not be lured into feelings of guilt or abandonment. Yeah, biological woman. Look, you know how James Brown used to say, "It's a man's world," right? Well, this is a white man's world with they white women. They broke this shit, and they need to fix this shit. We understood the assignment. We always understand the assignment, right? Black folks always understand the assignment. We have been fighting for this democracy since its inception, and white folks have been fighting for themselves since the inception of this country, right? That's what they've been doing overwhelmingly, right? 60% of them or more, right, voted for the melon felon. And the 40% who didn't need to talk to their brothers and sisters and talk some sense into them. This is their fight. You saw that as soon as Black folks started getting out in them marches, who All I saw being arrested were Black women over the age of 50. You got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of protesters out here, and the only one with twist ties around their arms are 50-year-old women, Black women. Really? No, we ain't. No, we're staying home. We need to stay home. We can go to the town halls, right? We can make the calls, send the faxes and the emails, and do all of that stuff. But what we're not going to do is be out in them streets so to get arrested for a democracy that does not want to grant full citizenship rights to us and codify it in the Constitution of the United States. That's what we're
Right.
not going to do.
Right. I'm gonna put this one up.
I was just grabbing that. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you, Dennis.
You are so generous. I know I say that every week, but you give every week. And so I've got to say it every week. All super chat, super thanks money goes to our scholarship fund for Beyond the Bling. That is our financial independence program for late bloomers. 100% of that money goes to the scholarship fund. So the US regime has the audacity,
The
right? The,
audacity. Yeah.
the unmitigated gall to grant 54 white South Africans refugee status for racial persecution while canceling other refugee programs. What the FUCK is going on right now? Are we being punked? What's going on?
Yes, Mark.
What is going on? So, okay, so let me get this straight. So some white folks go down to somebody else's house. They break in. They kick the people out whose house it is, right? Steal all their shit, squat in their house, but they're the victims. When the Black folks come back and say, all right, y'all can stay, but you got to stay on that side of the house. We get this side of the house now. And the white folks are the victims? White folks are the victims on the African continent. Make that make sense.
You can't.
Make that make sense. Y'all, who taught you that staying put was your only option? Who told you that? Who told you that? Right? Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. We appreciate it. Parisani, is that how I pronounce that? Is it Parisani? We thank you, thank you, thank you. So,
Thank
y'all,
you.
members, right now, what we are doing is we are meeting Sundays before our live stream on Zoom, having some behind the scenes chats and things like that. And then for our urban legends, they also get to participate every other Thursday on our live stream. Get on camera and come onto our live stream and discuss the latest financial news, abroad news, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's what we're going to do every other Thursday, from the opposite of our Thursday short. So if you are a Utopian legend, look out for the thing that I will
Link.
put, the post that I will put in on YouTube, and that will have the link to StreamYard so that you can get into the studio and come on air with us. All right. So we thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, let's get to this last one. Let's see. My new freedom involves off the grid life, not needing much money. Okay, Tiwo.
Okay.
I'm really impressed with people who want to do that off the grid thing. I'm too much of a BAP, y'all. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm the one who goes glamping, not camping. That is that's me. But I have much respect. I have much
Yeah.
respect for people who can figure that out. Oh, Greta, yes. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, yes, Lord. Empire Strikes Back. None of the laws mean anything without enforcement, right? And he wasn't held accountable for any damn thing.
Not a thing. Not a thing.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. that Obama said. Now, imagine had I done just one of the things that he's done. Imagine, because people would be losing their minds. They would be losing their minds. If I see another one of us marching with their boots on the ground, right? Right, Greta? No, no, no. We need to stay our behinds at home. They are looking for a reason to bring out the riot gear. I was talking to a girlfriend of mine. Oh, okay, we talked about that one. All right. All right, y'all. We're going to get to the last one. Okay, we talked about that one. Oh, freedom looks like no stress. It looks like having opportunities that I fairly deserve and being treated more seriously, right? That also owning something, right? And
Mm.
and owning something, y'all, does not necessarily have to be a piece of property, okay? It could be, but it can also be a business, right? It can also be stock. All right. So you want to own something that actually has the ability to to increase in value. I'm sorry, my cousin just came in with the cutest dog. Come here, Mookie.
Is that Mookie?
Y'all, would you look at this?
Mookie.
Would you look at this face? Is he not the cutest? How you doing, Roman? Okay. So family is coming, so we're gonna have to get off. Real soon. Gen Xers are mostly working side hustles in this economy, can't make it otherwise. I mean, our youngest has a W-2 job, but he needs to be having a side hustle going at the same time. He really does. And he
He
knows he does,
needs to listen. They all need to
right?
listen.
Right? Y'all have heard WEI, right? That's the caucasity, right? That's what Antonia's statement made me think of. Like, all these WEIs, white entitled incompetents running the government, and it's just ridiculous. Freedom for me is having the peace to rest and explore my passions. Yes, Danielle. Yes, 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 yes. Why do we let others' fears, right? Others' fears of us, of who we are, keep us from discovering the power of who we are and what we can do? Spot on. Spot on. You see my little cousin in the background, right, y'all?
I'm gonna put that
Life
on.
shows up.
I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Are you gonna put that on a t-shirt?
Put that on a t-shirt.
So Ryder Skater says Portugal and France have a reciprocal exchange of driver's license for Americans where you do not have to take the test. You exchange your USA driver's license in either countries. I didn't know about France, but I knew that for Portugal, definitely.
But there's a
Um,
set time limit on that.
there is a set time limit. And I think it's expired for us.
Yes, you have to do it within a year, 6 months or a year that you're in country. I don't really plan on driving anyway, so
I would love to rent a car and drive up the coast.
okay, I'll ride with you.
I don't plan to give them 2 months. When my visa comes through, I'm giving them my letter of resignation. I heard that, Allison. I heard that. And I hope it comes in soon. Right? I hope it comes in soon. Like, right? Like, people are like, that's just crazy. That is just crazy. Freedom from the white gaze and judgment, right? Also being relaxed and having fun. Yes, Peggy. Like, sometimes we just need to have fun. Just to have fun, like my cousin behind me, right? Like, not care in the world, not care in the world. I retired from the racist, oppressive job and got another to supplement my desires and dreams post-retirement. That's what I'm talking about, CK. That is what I am talking about. Well, that's right. Jabba the Hutt held Leia as a slave. Right. He was more like a mob boss. He held her, but he was holding her as a slave to lure somebody, to lure Luke Skywalker, though, wasn't he? Not just on GP. The Orange Menace is supposedly going to accept a super luxury Boeing 747 jumbo jet from Qatar's royal family.
Mm.
The grift is so audacious. It is so audacious. Like he's just like, look, Make it rain. Bring that money in. Show me the money. You want to do business with the United States? Show me the money. Show me the money. The younger generation of Black people are detached from their history and or current oppression. That's our fault. That's like if our kids don't understand the system that they're under, if they don't understand how the system has been stacked against them and how they can maneuver around it to get where they want to go, that's our fault. That's my fault,
Hmm.
right? That's my fault. If the melon felon hadn't won, the rest of the world would still be under the illusion that African heritage people are the ones keeping America down. The silver lining is righteous white folks can no longer say we're post-racial. That's the only silver lining, right? Like they cannot gaslight us anymore, trying to make it seem like we crazy, right?
Mm.
That we just being, why are you so sensitive? Why are you still talking about that stuff? And when excuse me, when I was talking to the doctor last night, to my dad's doctor, or one of his doctors, the Indian one that I was telling you about, and he told me that his great grandmother, was born in India, and I said my great grandmother was born on the plantation. So when people talk about that was a long time ago, my great grandmother didn't die until I was in my 20s. That was not long ago. That was not long ago. My great grandmother was born on the plantation. My great grandfather was born on the plantation. No one would tell a Jewish person to get over the Holocaust. No one would tell a Jewish person that. But they feel, yeah, I got to see it. I got to see it. But they feel perfectly fine telling a Black person to get over it, to get over our own Holocaust, right? That we are really kind of still going through it, right? I mean, the terror is real. When we're in the car, thank you for becoming a member, Sharfar Maid.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. Right, like when we're driving down the road, right, and especially if it's a little bit deserted and a cop comes behind us, I know the back of your neck, the hair stand up, right? It's that terror. It's that terror knowing that they have purposely recruited from the most racist communities out there. They have purposely done that. They did it with the LAPD, right? And they've done it for many, 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 many other police departments. And then what? Then they've got the legacies of that, right? So if they started doing that in the 40s and 50s, how many cops do you know whose father was a cop, whose uncle was a cop, right? Then they recruit their family members with the same belief systems. Ain't
Mm.
nothing changed. The world
So
will now know
I'm gonna
pimp
put
and
this one
punk
up.
America for all it's worth going forward. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you saw the face of the general that they're putting in front. They put a black face, trying to say that Africa, he's doing Africa wrong. He's not doing right by the people of Africa. And they got a black four-star general as the face of that to get rid of him, to try to get rid of him. That's crazy. And if people don't
That's
wake
what
up
they
and
do.
see, if people
That's
don't
what they
wake up
do.
and see behind all that crap,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. But that's what they
because
do,
he's
right? They find the Uncle Tom to bring the message because they know if a white man brings the message, we're gonna look at them like they crazy, right?
yeah, that is so
I mean,
wrong.
the fact,
They're
like this
doing the
country
same
is
thing
so
that they did
small.
to Gaddafi.
Exactly. This country is so small. And the fact that the melon felon who never reads a security brief yet has the audacity to know who this country is, it's just amazing to me. So what does that country have? Is it the diamonds? Is it gold? Is it oil?
It's
What do they have?
it's gold. It's
Ah,
gold, and they're not letting the French have it anymore. They're putting the French out.
Yep.
And Macron is crying in his cereal with his little weak ass. He's crying the blues because he can't have the gold anymore.
Right.
He needs his ass kicked too. I'm sorry,
Yep.
he does.
America says, stay put, capitalist messaging, work hard equals success, struggle, and it's your fault. It's the same mindset behind Black excellence. Yep. Passports were for hippies and unpatriots. I never heard that before in Glass Half Full. That's interesting. Freedom for me is about moving about on my own time. Yes, brown skin girl.
Mm.
Yes, 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 yes. All right, let's get to the last one right quick, and then we're going to let you go. I only wanted to go an hour today, actually, so we are already over. So um, we said the questions: Who taught you to stay put? Who taught you staying put was your only option? What has staying in the U.S. actually cost you? What would freedom look like for you, not your kids, not your grandkids? Are you open to receiving joy in a new location? This is about deserving more, right? This is about deserving more. Joy is not just for the young, right? It's not just for the young. It's not just for kids, right? It's not just for single people. Joy, there is no reason to be on this earth if we can't have vast amount of times of joy. I know every moment cannot be joyous, right? I know that. But are you open to the possibility that you can find joy in a new location? And then lastly, what would giving yourself permission look like today?
Yeah.
Is it a decision that you need to make right now?
Is it a conversation you need to have right now?
And with whom do you need to have that conversation?
Is
Do
it
you need
booking a
to
go
go
on?
ahead?
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Is it booking a discovery trip right now?
Maybe it's watching the replay of this live stream, right? What would giving yourself permission look like today? We want the best for you. We want the best for you. And like I cannot tell you, like, I don't even know how I would be right now if I still lived in the United States. And because my dad would still be going through this, right? He would still be going through this, but I would be so much more stressed out and probably less healthy. So I think that Ibrahim is so cool. I love what he's doing. I love that he believes in his people, right? I love that he has not allowed the other leaders with colonized minds to influence his decisions, right? I find it very interesting that little bitty. I mean, Africa is like a huge continent, but that's a very, very, very small country. It's like Lithosa, right? Like it is so small, and yet the melon felon knows what it is.
Because he didn't go to his inauguration. He refused to go to it. Turned him down.
Oh, he was invited, was he?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But
Yeah.
basically it's behind France just like Vietnam was. All France. Stupid bullshit. And they want the African gold and they want to keep taking it in their Africa. He's like, no, we don't need you. We have the gold. We have everything we need and we want. And we're gonna get more. So and
That's
we
why it's
want
called the
y'all out.
motherland. That's why it's called the motherland, right? Look, when that five-star general, whatever, said whatever he said, they said what they said. And those people started grabbing up rocks and whatever else and arms and whatever else they got and surrounded that wherever he's staying and said, we got you. We got your back. We got your back. Yes, his people love him, right? And I think deep down inside, the melon felon wants us to love him. I think he is so pathetic. I don't know. He didn't get enough hugs or something from his mama, right? And he wants us to love him, but he doesn't do anything that's lovable, right? And then if he can't get that, he wants us to fear him. That's what they want. I think, in spite of global situation, this is Africa, and it's diaspora time. I do believe so too.
I do
I do
too.
believe so too, and that's what motivates me. Yeah, I think we are seeing the shift, right? We are seeing the shift, the power shift, and we need to remain nimble. If you want to stay out of harm's way, we need to remain nimble and let these white folks figure this stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that they have an amazing electric vehicle as well, and it seems to
Hmm.
me that it's self-recharging or something like that.
Yeah,
What
it's
what
supposed
did
to
we
last a
read?
whole lot longer. Yeah, it's supposed to be like one of the best electric vehicles made, constantly recharging itself.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just a lot of good things that he's
Exactly.
doing, and he's that new guard. I mean, he still gets paid his captain's salary or whatever. Nobody drives luxurious cars. They all drive whatever Toyotas, whatever kind of
Right.
car.
Because he understands what everyone should understand, which is that if you're not okay, I'm not okay. That's what most Americans don't understand. You cannot be okay if the people around you are not okay. White South Africans understood that, but they couldn't articulate it. And that's why they live behind barbed wire, because it was more important that they were okay, not that everybody was okay. Because if everybody were okay, they would not have to live behind barbed wire. So who's really not free, right? Trump can't stop Black Americans' excellence from building up other regions of the world. That's right. Black Americans must thrive elsewhere. We can do this. Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You're absolutely right.
Hmm.
It is lovely. It is lovely when you find that. The first time I felt that, for real, when we went to Cancun for the very first time, right after COVID. And I was crying. I did not want to come back. I did not want to come back. I did not want to come back and deal with that job and everything else. I'm going to tell you guys, it feels lovely. It feels lovely not to have to worry about somebody else's emails and all this and that. Now, I still got to worry about our emails, and I'm behind on that, but I'm not going to fire me. Are you going to fire me, sweetheart?
No, baby, I wouldn't do that.
You hear that voice? No, baby, I wouldn't do that. Right on, baby, right on. The more we sew the blanket of Black expat communities together, yes, the warmer the embracing hug will be when we move to other regions of the world. Are you a poet, Ibad? Are you a
I
poet?
know.
You're pretty lyrical there. As a veteran, I felt ashamed when the general spoke. See? Do you see the 12-foot statue of the Black woman in New York Finance District? Do not play with the Black women. Yeah, he must be talking about the Statue of Liberty. Oh, interesting.
Oh yeah, because Putin, yeah, he wanted to fly commercial, and Putin wouldn't let him. He said, "No, no, 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 you fly in my plane," and sent his plane with fighter jets escorting him.
Putin is diabolical. He is diabolical and, and playing chess when the melon felon's not even playing checkers. I disagree that everyone else has to be okay. The guilt or obligation stifled me as my family's keeper. I've resigned. Yeah, no, I don't mean like that, CK. I don't mean that it is our responsibility per se to physically, emotionally, and financially make sure that everybody's okay. I think it is our responsibility to preach the good word of everybody being okay. I think it is our responsibility to vote in a way that everybody can be okay. right? And not to vote selfishly. When we talk about, how we can um, uh, have access to resources, right? I want everybody to be okay. Now, I'm not going to take it upon myself to make sure that every single person gets the resources that they deserve, but I will advocate for it, right? I will advocate for it. So, so that's what I mean. I don't mean like being the sacrificial lamb, because this Mother's Day. That's exactly what we're talking. We're talking about the opposite of that. We are talking about the opposite of that. Pumpkin Spice Palatine is playing marbles. There's a 12-foot statue of a Black woman in Times Square. I didn't know that, Allison. I didn't know that. All right. So we have reached the end of the line. We are going to let you go. Happy Mother's Day, y'all. Thank you for
Happy
hanging out
Mother's
with
Day.
us. I am at my aunt's house, and my mom's pastor is bringing over my mom any minute now. So I'm going to be spending Mother's Day with my mom for the first time in a while. I guess since we first moved to Portugal, we spent that Mother's Day uh, with my mom. And but we love y'all. And if there are urban legends who want to come and chitty chat on air on Thursday, then we will see you on Thursday. If you still have questions, if you need help getting your money straight, we got you. All right. We have one-on-one coaching. That information is in the description below. Of course, we have Beyond the Bling. That is our financial freedom program for late bloomers. We meet every second Saturday for live Q&A via Zoom. And we just had our, I don't know, 100th or whatever live Q&A yesterday, where we talked about what we're doing to prepare for the coming recession. Okay. And so we talk about everything from investing to side hustles and everything in between, y'all. So that's Beyond the Bling. That's our financial freedom course. Are y'all coming to the meetup? For those who are coming to the meetup, it is now officially too late to order merch, but it's not too late to have a ticket, right? Everybody, so that you can still get a ticket. That information is in the description below. It is June 16th and 17th. A lot of people are coming early because we're going to be hanging out all week long. It is the month of popular saints. St. Anthony is the patron saint of Lisbon. And it is a fantastic, fun time of street parties all day long, all week long, etc. So it's going to be warm. It's going to be lovely. And we're going to have a great time. So if you want to come to our meetup, tickets are still available. I just got the menu from Fernando for the reception, and it looks lovely. I'm really excited about that. They are putting the final touches on our all-day tour of Evora, the medieval town of Evora, and our wine tasting and wine pairing. So that's all in our meetup. And that information is in the description below. We have a ready to retire toolkit. That's free. We've got FAQs about investing. That's down there. That's free. All right. We also have our move abroad toolkit. All of that is in the description below. We love you. We'll see you on Thursday. Happy Mother's Day to everyone who mothers. That includes some male people who also may be in a mothering situation for whatever reason. We love y'all. Keep taking care of each other, and we will see you on Thursday. Bye.